fixed your car.
What kind of clown?
You really think someone slashed my tires?
Well, he knows this is your car. He saw us getting into it earlier.
Hey, handsome! My friend wants your number.
You.
What is it, Tara?
Dawn and I are sort of stranded. She has a flat tire and no spare, and I was kind of hoping you could pick us up.
Now is just to remain calm and stay on the line with me until the police arrive.
What the hell is wrong with you?
What, did you think he was gonna hack me up in little pieces or something?
Hey, what is going on? I am Zombie Fishers. We cut that little video there short because, well, I timed it wrong, so it is what it is. But I've got Jake with me. He is the owner and operator of Gamers Guild in the Low Country here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
We are playing BattleTech today. A little stray from what we normally do, although we kind of been branching out with video games lately. We did the Backrooms the other day. Dude, the Backrooms, I can't explain to you, like, and I know I'm late to this train. I know I'm super late to this train. But, like, it is so much fun. And I've seen the other ones. I started off with, I think, what the best one that they had.
Yeah.
Which is Escape Together. Because the graphics, it uses the Unreal Engine. So the
it's all
graphics
nice
are
and
just,
crisp.
oh, yeah, it's so good. And, like, the way that the proximity chat works, it's hilarious because, like, you'll hear your buddy with you. You know, John and I played the other, like, dude, I mean, like, we hit this hard for, like, 3 hours straight on stream. We ended up beating it. It's a really short game. But, like, I looked at the other ones because I was like, dude, I need more of this. You know,
I hate that about some games are so good, and then you're like, that's it?
yeah.
But they put, like, everything they had in that one little snippet.
Well, it's like a community-driven game, so, like, a bunch of people do. It's all indie stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like some people's is not as good as other people, you know, and the one that, unfortunately, the one that I started off with was so freaking good that, like, all the other ones are just not, it's just not even in the same wheelhouse. For sure. You know what I mean?
No, that happens.
But anyway, was a little disappointed in that. But we are going to be streaming some other games, John and I, because I know we realize how much fun the horror genre of games are. But yeah, so we're doing BattleTech today, a little stray from 40K and Age of Sigmar.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talking about this one for a while. We've had this BattleTech box that's just been itching to get gone.
Oh, yeah, since we opened the store.
Yeah, actually, and it was provided by yours truly here, Jake. So
yeah.
Definitely thank you very much for that. Oh, shit, I didn't realize how not in the camera you are.
It's okay.
Let me adjust that.
I'm only just over here on the end by myself.
All by myself. But yeah, so you're into this pretty deep now, aren't you?
Yeah, it was
a quick one too, wasn't it?
Quick evolution. Yeah, we were about a week or two from opening up the store, and I was like, I need something that's not Warhammer. And searching my brain and
Heresy, by the way.
all that. And it just comes from, like, just people's perspective. But I mean, since I was in the Navy, when I was a kid, I had some BattleTech novels. Like, but as a kid, like, I don't even remember some of the stuff I'm, like, reading now. But I knew it was a miniatures game. I didn't know exactly what it was, so I just took, like, a leap of faith into it. And I went and picked up I was in Ohio picking up my business partner, Jimmy, and we were visiting game stores just because he had never been in one at a game store.
Right.
He's from nowhere land.
Wow, really? Never been to a game store?
Yeah, Ohio's weird.
Okay, yeah.
So we were walking in there, and I go, oh my God, this is BattleTech. This is the thing I was talking about to you on the plane. Like, I was texting him about it. and they had this box that we have sitting on the table, and they had another one called Clans, Invasion of the Clans. And I was like, I'm getting this, and paid way too much. Didn't know at the time.
Right. Naturally.
Yeah, I paid $110 for that box. That box retails for $60.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I got. It was fine though, because I got back to his apartment. I opened the box and I was like, oh, the models are already together. This is different.
Hell yeah. That is something I'm a little jealous of.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't play Dirty Communist Tau or anything, so I'm like, oh, I was like, this isn't organic. Like, I play a lot of Age of Sigmar, right? So, like, a lot of flowy models. I'm like, well, these are different to paint. This will be a different skill set. And I popped the rules open. I watched a couple battle reports while we were sitting there. And I was like, all right. I was like, this is cool because, I've been playing Warhammer for 10 years, and facing has never mattered as long as I've played.
Facing?
Yeah. Well, except with tanks. Like right?
Yeah, they used to have the armor facings.
Yeah, like armor facings, right? So I looked at this, I was like, that's cool. That's something they took away from us, right? They took away, like, where facing matters and everything like that. I said, all right, cool, I'm intrigued. I got to sit down. One of the first customers that walked to my store is a guy that actually lives in my neighborhood, come to find out. And he's been playing BattleTech for 30-plus years, right? Old cat. Which I got a lot of guys at my store. They, like, dudes from all across.
That's crazy, man. I had no idea that this game has been out that long.
They just had their 40th anniversary 2 years ago, but they just released the 40th anniversary box. They were a little behind. We forgive them, but and when you see it, it's a big pink box. It's BattleTech, A Game of Armored Combat 40th Anniversary Edition, which it actually is literally the same box. Literally, the box is just different.
Just different.
Yeah.
Marketing.
And the Mercenaries box officially released 9 days ago, which they still haven't shipped out to the distributors haven't shipped it out, but it has VTOLs, tanks, hovercrafts, like all these new units that haven't been seen in years since they were producing them in metal at the time. So now they're these plastics coming out. It's not the same as GW plastic either. It's like a rubberized plastic, so they're less likely to break. So it's not polystyrene plastic.
Yeah, they're a little bit more durable, I guess.
Yeah.
So what's some of the like starting out, like, lore-wise, if you could because like obviously we want to get to the game, but
right.
in a short essay.
Sure, 40 years of lore. Let's go. No, so I'm gonna start with a key difference when it comes to all the other stuff that's out in the market and floating around. The idea of Warhammer, like original Warhammer, was around the same time as this game, right? These games were emerging around the same time.
Right.
Whereas, like, Warhammer and, like, Warhammer 40K, their big bads are external from humanity, right? Or, like, some part of it, like, in the Horus Heresy, it's humanity turning back on itself kind of thing. BattleTech doesn't have aliens. They have a nemesis called the Clans, which actually was a part of them to begin with, that comes back to reclaim its home, essentially. They also have the post-apocalyptic state of BattleTech is something that happened to themselves because of 4 galactic civil wars. They actually, like, messed themselves up so bad that they started losing technology.
So it's so what I'm gathering is it's tribal and it's factions that are warring to kind of take back over what they had in the past.
It's like the Game of Thrones times 100 kind of plot.
Okay.
So there is, and then there's like different representations of different government systems, such as like the Draconis Combine. They are a Japanese feudal society that went and it never stopped. Like, some of their warriors follow Bushido.
Okay.
And then they have a little bit of, like, German stuff going on in that one, but then you have, like, I'm trying to think of one that stands out. You have, like, the Free Worlds League, which is a democracy, which actually in the back end is not. You have, like, a ruling class that's in the back pulling strings.
So what I'm gathering is in the year 2786, nothing has changed. There are people that
So there's an important part. I might get this wrong, and somebody's going to yell at me about it. But so the significance of that 2786 is we had figured out how to do interstellar travel.
Mm-hmm.
And then the biggest problem that happened there was communication as they started bleeding out into the universe, communication got harder and harder and harder because the time between talking from the sender to the receiver was starting to get so astronomical within months and years and stuff like that, until another technology came out called a hyperpulse generator, which made them instantaneously be able to send messages back and forth. Later on, another faction arises and becomes kind of a religious cult because of the succession wars and losing technology. It became the word of Blake.
Okay. Blake?
Yeah, the word of Blake.
Like Balake?
Yeah, Blake.
Okay.
They
That's so random.
after I think it was either the second or third succession war, which is the Civil Wars. It became such a mystery about the technology that they started just being mechanic-ish, like praying to the hyperpulse generator to do what it's supposed to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, we have to, yeah. So
We got to send them a missive. May the gods do whatever.
Right, as they push the power button.
Yeah, but also there an important part too, and there's just so much to like go into this.
I knew you wouldn't be able to cover it all. It's more of just like a general feeling of the lore.
The lords of a lot of the major factions got together, and there was a ruler, like a monarchy, that right at the beginning they had something called Comstar, which was all those big factions together, working together to like keep the peace and do whatever. And then I think somebody got assassinated, and then the Star League fell apart, and then that's when all those civil wars started again. And it happened several times where somebody shit talks somebody too much, and then
Bam.
bam. And
So
then,
nothing's changed. It's pretty much present day with extra technology
Right.
and mech suits.
And there was one gentleman of the last name Kerensky, who was like, "You guys are idiots. I'm taking all my toys and I'm going out into deep space."
The Eldar.
One of the reasons he was going out in deep space is because people didn't really agree what he was doing with genetic research and making genetically altered humans, and which he was like, "These are superior. Why would we do this?" And they were like, "You're a monster," and so he left. To later come back and backlash into the main story. There's all these clans that are like, "Well, Kerensky says this is our true home," and they start invading into the inner sphere, and the inner sphere has lost all its technology, whereas the clans kept progressing their technology, and so they have better mechs. They're called omni-mechs that don't overheat, they overheat, but they don't overheat as bad, and their firepower is like tenfold of what these inner sphere mechs, because these dudes are running around with antiques because they forgot how to produce some of these things.
Oh, really?
Even drop ships and jump ships, like the jump ships they need to interstellar travel between stars, they have no idea how to build these things at one point in time. They're like, "Yeah, we don't blow these up." Like, even if you're warring against your most hated enemy, they're like, "We don't blow up jump ships because, we can't make them again." So they're like, no fighting around jump ships, no shooting at them, no nothing.
And that's like understood throughout all of
Yeah,
them?
but like it happens still,
Right.
like where somebody's like, fuck that," and they blow it up, but it's seen as like a heinous thing to do.
Real quick, Airman, what's up, man? Good to see you. And Castle, if you're still on here, I know you're saying you feel the same way about the old world. I know you were just talking a second ago about old world and how it's
dead on its feet, but it's still, people like collect it out of nostalgia or the idea of like, "Oh, I really want to do this," right? And
Right.
What's funny is I was on the phone with the Games Workshop rep about a month ago. He was the manager of all the reps, and I was trying to get something solved. But we got into a conversation, and he was like, "Yeah," he said, "it was crazy." He said, "Even the dudes that are working in the office knew what was going on. Were like, this is gonna be amazing. Old world's coming back." They dug all their armies out of their closet. They've been hoarding for forever. Played it 2-3 times. They're like, I remember why we stopped this. This sucks.
Really?
Yeah, the guys at game like, selling it were like, "Oh yeah."
Was it just hard to play? I've never played it, so.
It's more it's the wheeling. So like it's more random, right? It's not as like if you're like I do this and this is going to happen, right? And it's just not a dice roll that's determining that. There's so much more randomness in it, and you're also doing the wheeling formations and stuff like that. You can't pre-measure.
That used to be a thing in 40K too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
5th
stopped
edition,
that. They stopped that because people were getting so many feel bads about. They were like, "Oh, I'm going to shoot that," and you're like, "Nah, can't. You're not in the range." And then you get stomped because you made one wrong decision. Or whatever.
Yeah, I remember when I first started, all the older guys were like, "Yeah, you know, like we used to have to. You couldn't pre-measure anything. It's freaking bullshit. You have to be able to size it up and say that it's there. You know, like the old like
Well,
back in my day."
So what's funny is like, for example, in the old world, the grots, right? The goblin shaman would go to like cast something, and a miscast wasn't just like, "Oh, D3 mortal wounds." His head literally exploded.
Yeah, actually, they did that up until I don't want to keep going into Warhammer. It's what I know. So, but
Right.
And real quick, if you're just joining us, if I don't think I actually said at the beginning, for the drawing for this, just put in exclamation point ticket in the chat, and you'll be entered in for the draw. It's one per person. It's free. You do need to be on the stream to win, so that is a thing. I probably should have put that in the description, but yeah, we'll be doing that probably after we're done playing, and we're only playing two models versus two models, so it shouldn't take too long.
Yeah,
But we are going to be going in depth on how this game is played, and actually, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you about to say?
No, yeah. I mean, like, looking at it, BattleTech's a really cool game to get into because not only like this armor combat box exists, there is something called a beginner's box, which normally we tell people don't buy these because sometimes it's disappointing. But if you're like, hey, I just want to see it, like, get my hands on it,
dip your toe.
Yeah, the box is $24.99. It comes with two mechs. It comes with 2 of these paper sheets in it.
Okay.
Of the maps, which are double-sided, so they gives you 4 boards to play on, and then it comes with colored record sheets in it as well. And then every big box of BattleTech also comes with what's called a primer, right? Or a primer, if you want to correct somebody in their English. It's a little mini novel just to tell you, hey, in this era, these mechs that you got in this box, this is why you got these mechs in this box because of this story, right? Because there's hundreds of these stories that are just highlighting these things.
Yeah, that's similar to like a Vanguard or like
right. And
Combat Patrol or something like that.
And think about like mech warriors, which are the pilots. They some of them are just soldiers of fortune, and they're out. They have mercenary groups, which is the guys that you see prevalently a lot. But then you have the actual like standard regiment guys who are attached to a great house or a government, and so they belong to battalions. So
they're more badass and
well, not necessarily, because a lot of the most feared pilots are the mercenaries because they have more fighting under their belt. And then the clans fight amongst themselves for fun. They literally like in order to say you're like, I don't think you make great decisions. I want to be your leader. They do a trial of replacement, or if a clan doesn't like another clan, they're like, well, we're going to do a trial of annihilation. And so they do these battles to be like, if you lose this battle, we consume your clan, or we annihilate and get rid of your clan off the face of the universe.
Wow.
And the other clans are like, oh, well, you lost your trial, so bye-bye. Like, and these clans aren't just like 10 people. These are thousands of people in these clans.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, it seems like it almost feels like maybe the human race has regressed a little bit.
Yeah.
In mentality speaking.
Well, like the thing about the clans, it's kind of cool. Like that intrigues me about them is they're honor bound, right? So like, for example, if one of them gets defeated and they're not dead, they didn't blow up in their mech, the other mech warrior could be like, you're going to be my bondsman. And they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm honor bound to be your bondsman. So they now have like a lackey from another clan that essentially is like, do my menial work or whatever, or like
Yeah, like
you're
clean my mech suit and shit like that.
well, but also they'll be like, oh, well, you're my bondsman, you're gonna fight with me.
That's
and
like
assist
what's the knight version of that? Not from 40K. I'm talking about.
No,
knight.
it's a
What do they call him? I can't think of the name.
wow.
It's like right there.
It's on my mind. I can see the little dude like brushing the horse and everything, or like cleaning the thing.
What is the name of
Squire.
that? Squire. There you go.
It's like that, but yeah, but they also like they do that. They're not going to be a bondsman forever. The warrior caste, their goal is to become a warrior again and get back into a mech and fight on their own for their own glory and honor and all that stuff.
Got you.
It's so deep though. Like we could sit here for days.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
It's like crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure they're probably.
And the sad thing is I've only literally been in this thing for 4 months, and it's like I've been consuming so much information about
Drinking
it.
from a fire hose.
Oh, dude! Like, I also play on my when I get time. I don't have a lot of time. I'll be like, I just want to zone out. I've been playing BattleTech on Steam. I play MechWarrior. I was playing MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries up until Clans just came out. So that's really cool because it has all these cinematics in it. And you're like, oh, this is what this looks like. And they're actually like showing them on their spaceship, and they're looking at these BattleTech battle maps in these holotanks. And they describe the holotanks from the inner sphere view, and they're like, yeah, it's a busted piece of shit. It doesn't really work. And then you look into Clans, and they're like, they have these tactical views that look like this, and you're like, oh yeah, they're a lot better off than these podunk inner sphere guys.
Oh, like you're talking about the different tribes, the different technology. That
Yeah, like looking back at the normal human guys, like where we would be sitting, they're like, oh yeah, I got this cool antique battle suit. My grandpappy's, he fought in it, and it's got like all this mismatched like patchwork.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I'm totally picturing it in my brain right now.
but then you got the Clans mechs, and they're like shiny, just off the
Brand
symbol.
new.
Yeah.
Like the corporate style, like feel. Like you get the or like the rebels and the
Yeah, and you're like
the Federation.
shit. Or like the Timberwolves, like the ones you're gonna be piloting today. Those things are like scourges on the battlefield. They just fuck you up. Like,
Yeah.
And it's what's funny about the reason I pulled that Mad Cat out, because it's also got a Mad Cat. It's been around for a long time. MechWarrior 2 was one of the first PC games that I ever played.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was 3D. And that's the first thing you go stomping around in, and then like 5 minutes later they kill you in a cinematic. Like the dude literally like blows you up, and then you're laying there, and the guy walks up to you with a laser gun, and he's like, boom, right in your face, and then the game starts, and you're like, what just happened?
What game is this?
MechWarrior 2,
When did it come out?
95.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Shit. MechWarrior. Yeah, I think I've played MechWarrior.
MechWarrior.
Was that on PlayStation?
Yeah, they have it. Like
Yeah,
so
I've actually played that before.
MechWarrior is BattleTech.
Yeah, that
And-
makes sense.
And the MechWarrior is referred to as the RPG, the tabletop RPG game. So like D&D, but it's MechWarrior. BattleTech is this. This is the miniatures game.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, and
Sorry, I'm just putting some music on.
what was cool was I didn't even know it existed until one of those collections we recently got our hands on. Because people would always mention it. I was like, yeah, MechWarrior. Cool. And then I pull out these ancient books from 1985, which are pristine, and I'm flipping through. I was like, this is a D&D, but with battle mechs. Oh. Like, everything, it took 20 years for everything to click.
Right.
I was like, that's why they made a video game of it. I get it now.
Yeah. I remember playing that as a kid, and I did not understand it whatsoever. I played, most of the stuff I played was Resident Evil 2, and freaking pretty much anything on the N64, but yeah.
Yeah.
I remember playing it as a kid, and I remember just dying all the time.
Yeah, because, and the thing is, and they simulate this pretty good in a lot of the games, is how brutal the mech combat is. Because there's no energy shields or anything like that. It's not high fantasy or high sci-fi. It's, hey, there's a big round coming at you that's, there's a 20-inch cannon. That slug's hitting into that mech. It's probably going to kill you if it hits it in the cockpit.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's over. Like some of these, the ones that we have these like LRMs, which are long-range missiles, a PPC, which is a particle projection cannon. I can't even describe. It's just a big thing of light that comes out and hits things.
Wow, killing things with light. That's actually pretty common in comics, believe it or not. Like
Right.
manipulating light being one of the more powerful abilities that you can
Well,
have.
I imagine this cannon is it's essentially like photons being just fired in one direction really fast,
Right.
and it also like it causes like electrical overloads and stuff like that. And they,
Oh, like solar flare. That makes sense.
and like because sometimes like most
Like
of these
maybe
cockpits,
radiation involved or something.
like that Mad Cat or the Timberwolf, if you look at it, it has a cockpit in it, and it has actual like a screened glass. Some of the mechs don't have that. Some of them are fully enclosed, and there's no seeing outside, like literally camera view. Like a heavy, like an assault mech, like doesn't have windows because it's 100 tons, and you're shooting so much stuff. If you had a window, it'd blind the pilot. Like, and the scale of them. So a small tiny mech is about 14 meters high. That's considered a small mech,
Wow.
which is 20 tons.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like,
So these things are fucking gigantic.
they're like buildings. They are little walking buildings.
Yeah, you know, and I remember when I was playing, what's it called as a kid? Mech Warrior as a kid. I remember that they were gigantic. You were basically moving around mountains and shit like that.
Yeah,
And you were like the size of some of the mountains.
I mean, so like this battle mech is 80 tons. This one's 65.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Their
And
ammo
there's only
is-
one person in these things?
Yeah.
I call
there's
bullshit.
there's no machine spirits.
I'm going to call bullshit right now because there is no way that works properly. There's got to be a mechanic in there.
So, the way they dealt with that kind of was there is something called a neuro helmet. And it doesn't like, you don't put it on and then just sit there and then it moves and does what it does. It actually gives the pilot like an impulse, and there's gyros and stuff, so that it uses the brain's like balance. So there's the gyros to keep it up and all that stuff. And they're using foot pedals. Some of the mechs have the like one joystick and a throttle, or like some of them actually have fists and they have the gloves that articulate with the gloves and stuff like that. And
No, I'm just saying when a problem comes up, there's got to be somebody
no.
that what does he have to jump out and fix his shit?
they're called battlefield repairs.
Really?
But-
So what does he got to do? Get out? Like, is there?
Well, some of the shit
I'm
they can't
assuming
fix.
in game it's whatever, but I mean lore-wise, what is he getting out of his vehicle and like fixing it?
So like some of them have upper, lower, rear cockpit hatches, and like if they're not in battle and there's something they need to fix, they undo a chain ladder and they climb down, and if they can fix it, they fix it. But most of the time, like if you lose an arm, you lost your arm. There's no picking up a 10-ton arm off the ground.
Shit. No, I didn't mean that. I meant like these gigantic things. You know, like mechanically, it's metal moving on metal. You know what I'm
Well-
saying? So you're gonna have like issues
Well,
mechanically.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's why these things are amazing. Because like they have what's called like Meyermeer. They call them Meyermeer muscle fibers and cords and shit. So it's essentially like a really thick
it's like
material
kind
strap.
of organic.
Yeah, and like if the armor cracks, which like each pip on the sheets when we go to look at them, that's a ton, or it's a part of a ton, like a quarter of a ton of armor. So if it gets blasted through, sometimes that Meyermeer shows through, and if you hit that, then it like slacks the torso, or like
Bad stuff happens.
yeah, or like if you hit a mech in its center torso, it hits the engine shielding, so you start having overheating problems, or like coolant leaks, or if you have a bunch of missiles stored in your torso and then it sets off a missile,
Yeah, you're fucked.
night because you just had 20 tons of missiles go off in your chest.
Speaking of which, actually, do me a favor, man. Can you scoot this way?
A
and,
scooch?
Face that way.
All right,
I just hate it because like you're out of the.
I'm not in the loop, in
Yeah.
the frame.
Yeah, you're kind of. It's like a
Yeah, I'm just off.
like disembodied voice.
There
we go. So
I'm
much
here.
better.
I live. I'm awake.
All right, so give us a quick rundown of like gameplay wise. So lore out of the
Yeah.
picture. This is the mechanics of the game.
All right. So normally, we're gonna be playing 2-on-2 today.
Right.
But a normal game, a battle formation of inner sphere mechs is considered a lance, which is 4 mechs. And then you have a star, which is the clans. They normally have 5. When you're determining, there's a myriad of ways to determine what a fair battle would be, like during match play. One common way is battle value, which you have to go into a website, look at the mech. There's a calculation for it, so it'll be like, oh, we're gonna play 2,500 battle value, right? The easy way, like what we're doing today, is we're doing tonnage. So you look at the tonnage, and you say, oh, well, I have 80 and I have a 65, and then you add those together, and that's your tonnage. The part that sucks is tonnage does not take into account the weapons that these things are carrying. There are thousands of variants of these mechs. They have different ones that are like, oh, this one's a missile boat. Oh, this one has a laser. This one has a bunch of lasers. This one has 10 lasers. Like, or this one, like, so, and that's the one thing that there's dudes, you go, oh, well, this mech and this mech, I have this mech, and they're like, oh yeah, so we'll just do X ton, and they plop it right out, and they just know it like by heart. I can't do that.
Right.
I'm not there. So,
understandable. You just started recently.
Right. So this is the classic. This is what's referred to as BattleTech Classic. There is another iteration that just recently came out called Alpha Strike, which is made to be a faster, quicker way of playing.
It's a watered down version. It's the one the guy was telling me about in the store.
Right. Which he gave you he has a little bit of a bias when he was describing that to you. Mm-hmm. It is made to play at not lance on lance or lance on star, star on star. It is made to play at the battalion level of it. So if we had, a battalion is 4 lances, so it's 12 mechs, and then you might have 4 tanks, a couple of jets, and a VTOL out. If we tried to play that, which we could play that in Classic, we would be there for a whole weekend. It would take so long.
Because each mech is individually, like you're blowing up arms, you're blowing,
Yeah, and just the rolls, the calculations, stuff like that. So Alpha Strike made it where instead of rolling for a bunch of weapons, you roll for a hit. It's the second time you've done that.
I know, I do it all the time.
You roll for a hit, and then you're like, oh, that did 3 damage, right? And like a light mech will have 5 armor pieces and then 3 internal structure. And then once you blow off all the internal structure, the mech's dead.
Yeah.
Right? One of the cool things about Classic is when you're doing the individual damage and you get an arm blown off, it'll take away a weapon or whatever, right? But your mech's not dead. So at the end of the game, if you're playing a campaign, you're walking off, you're like, I'm missing an arm, but my pilot lived and my mech's still alive and stomping around. Now I can go back and I can upgrade my mech or repair it back to full strength and then do a bunch of other stuff.
Costing some sort of thing that's in the campaign.
And that's the thing. So BattleTech is one of those games, which I feel about most games. I feel like some of the games have better play in narrative or in campaign play. This is definitely one of those games where you can play one-offs and it's fine, but it feels way better when you're like, I played a campaign game, this guy lived, I got to pay, 400,000 C-bills to get my other one back. Or Jared, my pilot, died. He'd been around for a while, so that sucks.
So you lost all that experience?
Yeah, and like the pilots, they go and we'll explain this when we get into the gameplay. There's a gunnery skill and a piloting skill. And those will make the games go by, better, worse. It factors into the shooting calculation. And the other part is that you don't get to see in Alpha Strike is the individual hits. So if there's a critical hit and somebody hits your leg, it doesn't necessarily blow off your leg, but maybe it blows off one of your heat sinks. So you're not able to manage your heat as good, so the person can't fire all their energy lasers or whatever. Or you blow off a jump jet, so now they can't jump. Stuff like that.
Got you.
You also don't have the same kind of physical attacks. In this game, you are able to blow off somebody's arm. Your mech, if it has fingers, picks up the other mech's arm and then clubs it.
With its own arm.
And it does considerable amount of damage.
Wow.
Charging in this game is actual charging. Like you're calculating the weight, the distance moved, and a little tiny mech can do 22 damage to a big giant mech. Which 22 damage is a lot.
Yeah.
one of the other. Oh, Death from Above was the one I wanted to tell you about. So, if you have one mech standing still, and you have another mech that's in a higher elevation and has jump jets, it can literally go to jump on top.
Right.
Of the other
You can do
mech.
extra damage.
Most of the time, no, because it's so hard to pull off,
Right.
and you have a better chance of blowing your own legs off.
But it's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes both your arms have been blown off, almost all your weapons are destroyed.
It's
You're
a
like,
fuck it moment.
yeah, you're like, you know what? In the last moment of desperation, I'm going to do a Death from Above. And sometimes when they go off, it is hilarious. Or you do like a charge and with a push off of a cliff. So like you charge, it pushes them 1 hex, and they're like 3 hexes up, and maybe there's either concrete or a river, and you push them off, and it's like, splash, and they blow up.
Oh, so there's fall damage.
There's fall damage. There's anything. That's the thing. So
Super realistic. Yeah.
the one thing you wanted to realize about BattleTech is it can be as simple or multifaceted, complicated as you could ever want anything ever to be.
So they probably have pre-written rules on how to do like anything you could really think of, but you're like, hey, we're gonna ignore this, this, and this so we can get a
Yeah,
game. But yeah.
There's a general standard like what's in this quick rule book, because the real rule book is about
This comes in that, I'm assuming.
yeah, the real rule book's like 250 pages, so it's pretty thick. I could be undervaluing that a little bit, but you literally look at the back of the book and you see all the keywords and you're like, no ma'am, and just close it. Because there's also, not only are there the mechs and there's tanks and there's jets, there's also carriers, naval ships, submarines, there's infantry, there's things called elementals, which come from the clan side. They literally hop on top of a mech, and their goal is to like disable the mech by like burning holes in it or opening the cockpit and killing the pilot, stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So like little infantry dudes that are kind of dangerous to mechs.
1 second. I will actually I should have had this out before.
Yeah, and the there is phases to the game.
Yeah, it's not just willy-nilly we're running around doing crazy shit. So this is an Orion. Some of the Comstar boxes they have like a one fully painted mech in them. So that came like that out of the box.
Yeah, I would put it on the overhead, but unfortunately, this is a green model with a green background, so I highly doubt that's going to show up very well.
They're like, what? What are you talking about? It's invisible.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually get it to focus. Yeah.
Maybe. I'll put one.
It's a little mech, dude. Yeah, put it in the Discord.
Yeah. And these are clan elementals. So that gives you a little bit of scale. Like they're big. Those guys are about the size of a Space Marine.
Which, if you play 40K, these are smaller than Ripper Swarms.
Oh, they're tiny.
Yeah, these dudes are very, very, very small.
Well, so Mech Warrior is considered to be 6mm.
That's
epic
a small
scale.
one too?
This one is that's 100 tons.
Okay.
So it's big.
I was just doing it for like thinking
Yeah.
about the size of them.
Yeah, and those dudes are wearing a mechanical suit. They're actually like kind of wearing a little like mini mech, like the chick from Overwatch. Was it Eva?
Oh, Diva.
Diva.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like that, but like maybe triple the size.
Okay.
But they're also genetically bred giant superhumans.
Okay.
That's that guy Kerensky was like, I'm gonna make superhumans. So essentially that's what happened.
Gotcha. So what are the phases?
All right, so this is a game of, the most important part is not the shooty bit. It is movement and managing your heat.
Okay.
So the first thing we ever do is, the game is started off board. You decide what edges you're coming in on, and then you roll for initiative. And the thing that's backwards, that most people will find backwards, is if I have the initiative, you go first.
So if you roll higher in initiative, I go first.
Yep.
Okay.
It's so that I have more information to go off of.
Well, I would in this scenario, but yeah.
Right. And so.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, I got it. Yeah,
bad.
I get more information because you get to move first, and I go, well, I'm gonna respond to you because I have the initiative. So,
Got you.
the next after that, is the movement, and then we calculate all of our shooting. So the way it works, movement works as I go, you go, but shooting, the person with the that lost the initiative does their shooting first, all of their shooting, and then I come back and do all my shooting because it happens simultaneously, so it doesn't matter. Anything that happens during that shooting phase doesn't count against you until we get into the physical phase.
Okay, so basically in the shooting phase, you might fire all your stuff first, and I get hit and I lose an arm, but I've already shot my missiles
Right.
in game, so they're kind of going like this.
They're crossing each other.
Yeah.
And then next is the physical attacks, which there's punching, kicking, jumping on top of people's faces, clubbing. There's also the charging. So like charging is actual charging. Like it's like you're like a lineman, or like a linebacker going right into somebody. So imagine like a little 20-ton mech like going 100 miles per hour and then ramming into something.
Nice.
Um,
Is that easy to pull off, or is that hard?
Charging is actually pretty decent. Like you have a pretty high success rate when it comes to that, because it's not a roll of a chance to do it. You are rolling to hit, but your roll to hit modifier is really low. So like it's a good chance that you could get it as long as there's nothing wrong with your mech. And then after the offensive physical phases is initiative again, and you're going back in. And you, before the initiative starts, that's when you look at your heat and see if you have any modifiers, or did the pilot themselves in their mech sustain any damage? Did they knock themselves out? Did they have to do a seatbelt check? Like say they fall over, these dudes are harnessed and strapped in here. There's a good chance like maybe their seatbelt failed and they like hit their head against their console or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is represented in this game.
Yeah, and falling that high.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, these are building-sized, mountain-sized mechs and shit like that. So
Before I came, I was helping some customers play a match, and we were looking at how VTOLs work. Because there's so many rules in here, like, and I haven't been playing long enough to be like, oh yeah, that's how that works. So we're like flipping through, and I was like, oh, a VTOL can go 500 hexes.
what's a VTOL?
It's a helicopter essentially.
Okay, so it's a model.
Yeah, it's a physical model. It can go 500 hexes high. So when you look on this map and you see level 1, level 2, like that's representing 30 meters per level. Mm-hmm. This thing can go 500 hexes high. So like my little helicopter sitting here, even though it's represented right here, it's actually like through your
Way up, yeah.
it's up there. And but they have, for every situation that you can think of, they have it. And I'm pretty sure the one we've been digging for is to see if mechs explode. Because these things, these pilots are like saddled on top of a nuclear reactor.
Right.
And like, you're like, well, what if the reactor gets, hit? And a lot of times, like in the books, they're like, oh, it's safely shut down. And then the mech blows up. Like the pilot dies or whatever.
Right.
And you're like, but that can't always happen. Like, what if something hits it and then like it goes critical, which happens in the video game all the time. You're like, oh, get away from the mech, it's going critical, and then it's like, boom.
Yeah, like a huge explosion.
Yeah, and it can do damage to other mechs.
Sounds like some room for some homebrew rules.
Well, that's the thing, right? So like you go and make a homebrew rule, and then you're actually like flipping through a tech manual or whatever, and you're like,
Oh, it's already there.
oh shit. And then because like there are myriads of books to add on to advanced rules for these things.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's like space expansions, there's planet expansions, and it's literally just telling you like different ways of adding to or doing combat, like, or how artillery works. So if your player group's like, hey, we want to use artillery, and you're like, okay, does it fire from off the board? Where is it? And then you're like looking at the description, and it goes, oh, you need to have 6 of these paper maps long ways that way to actually represent how far the artillery shoots.
Oh, that's crazy.
Or like aerospace fighters, right? So there's jets. And this mercenary release, I actually got some. They have bombers and fighters and stuff that can go in space. So you have to have a different map of space, which is a different scale. But if you were to represent it, I was reading it today, it was 9 to 16 of these long ways would be the easiest way to calculate how this thing moves. So like in one turn, when your mech's only going 4 or 5 hexes, this jet's flying by, and it's all the way like off the table somewhere. And like the lasers are like laser range is like 120 hexes long.
Yeah, actually, speaking of which, shooting.
All right, so
Because I
shooting.
know that's where you were going.
Yep. So shooting.
And I'm gonna pull up. I should probably pull up the.
Yeah, you can pull up the mech sheet, and we'll take a glance at just the sections of a mech record sheet, which looks super crazy at first glance.
Well, actually, I'll put it on the full. You're gonna have a disembodied voice here, guys. But
Oh God.
all right. So I've got my little pointer here, so I
Yep.
can kind of explain this to you.
So let's
Or
the big fancy mech silhouette. All those pips you see are a point of armor. That is so once that's blown off, it would go down to the little mech down at the very bottom, next to the heat gauge, and that's the interior. Once something runs out of pips in there, it is literally gone. So like leg gone, arm gone, head gone.
So you're saying this is the right arm here,
Yep,
his right arm, our left. Once this goes, that's the armor, right?
yep. But the mech is still there, so his like myomer and like his muscle fibers and bone is
Right.
still there, and then
And this is what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Once that goes, then that arm is gone.
that arm is gone.
Got you.
And that other little silhouette underneath his feet, that is his back, which you can tell doesn't have as much armor as everything else. So getting shot in the ass, not a good thing.
Right.
Like if you end up maneuvering behind somebody and hitting them there, it's usually really bad.
Yeah, yeah.
can-
we actually did that when we played at the store.
Yeah, you killed me.
Yeah, yeah. It was,
Yeah, you can gut a mech. So moving on to the more important stuff. So you have the overview, looking at the running, walking running stats. These are referred to as movement points or MP. So if you have a 5 walk, you can spend 5 walking points and still be considered to walk. Once you spend over that, you're running.
and that's 1 hex, right?
So yeah, 1 movement point, unless it is rough terrain or trees, something like that.
So these fit perfectly in these little hexes.
Yep.
I've got it on the overhead right now. So like he could basically walk 5, right?
Right.
Unless you're walking through where something
Like the trees.
the trees over here.
Yeah, so like
So,
the little trees, the light trees, cost you 2 to walk through, so it's difficult terrain.
So I'd be like 1. This is starting here. 1, 2, 3,
Yep.
4, 5,
Yep,
and then I'm stuck there.
correct.
And spinning costs.
Yep, cost an MP.
So remember he was talking about earlier the facings matter. So if you're gonna, if you got a dude right here, or like right here,
Yep.
or something like that, you don't want to get hit from this angle. So you'd want to make sure that you're aimed at your
Yeah.
facing is towards him.
Yeah, because during right before the shoot phase, you have what's called the torso twist phase. It's a microstep, whatever. It literally, if you need to like bring something on your right arm to bear, you have to move it into their firing arc. So you wouldn't move your model, but you can be like, I torso twist one direction this way. And in this book, and there's a template of the hexes telling you, this is my left side, this is my right side, this is my front. And then if you look at it, you can be like, oh, you're in my firing arc, or oh, you're not in my firing arc. So if something is on your chest and something's over there and you're facing this way, it can't shoot them.
Okay.
So, and it does spell out on these weapon sheets where something is, where it says the LOC. So you have like left arm, so for LA, and then right arm.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then LT is left torso.
Yeah, LOC meaning location. This
Yep.
is left arm, right arm, left arm, right arm, left
Torso.
torso,
Right torso,
center torso.
Yep.
Okay.
And then sometimes there's legs, sometimes there's head, like flame. Like some of the commandos have flamers in their legs. So the other part of the sheet that's important is you have your critical hit table, which is down below. There you go. So if somebody does score a crit on you, things can be blown off in here without having, so like your arm's still intact or your shoulder's still intact, but they get a crit. Well, they could blow up the gun, or if they hit the ammo can explode. And then there's a calculation for, hey, and that's what happened. That's how you killed me that day. or you saw it like happen. It was 2 tons of AC ammo went off in my chest, doing 44 damage to my center torso. So essentially, I was just literally no torso and just all the parts fall to the ground.
Right.
After that, the only other important parts are the warrior data. So you have your pilot and the gunnery skill and the pilot skill. Generically, if you're not playing in a campaign game.
Sorry, I was touching things. I didn't mean to.
Oh, you're good.
I was trying to pull up the pilot stuff.
Yeah, so generically, so this already said, it's already filled in for us. Your pilots are 4-5. So 4 gunnery skill and 5 piloting skill. These become relevant. Gunnery skill is relevant when you're shooting. Piloting skill is when you have to take a piloting test, like say you're going to fall over or you jumped into some trees. You have to see how skilled your pilot is. You roll 2d6 and try to roll over your piloting skill.
Gotcha.
Like for today, because we don't want to be here for 10 days, we're going to probably use 3-4, so that way the game goes a little bit faster. Because the shooting a couple hexes away, if you have a really bad gunnery skill, it can take a while to kill each other.
Gotcha.
You're trying to knock out like 100 pips. The other relevant part of this is the heat scale. Like I said, one of the most important factors of BattleTech is movement and heat management.
What is heat?
So heat is everything you do, any action you do in BattleTech causes heat. If you're walking, that causes 1 heat. If you're running, it causes 2. If you're jumping, you have big flames coming out of your back, that's causing heat. Shooting lasers overheat. Shooting missiles. A laser, so my catapult, it has, well, we were looking at the Mad Cat, right? Is that what we had up? Yeah. So the Mad Cat. All these are energy weapons except for the LRMs and the machine guns. All the rest are energy weapons.
Oh, that's the heat right there?
Yeah, if it fired off all of that, it was at 24,
29, 34, 38, 42.
a lot. So like
48, I think.
if you scroll down next to the interior sheet, it'll tell you how many heat sinks you have. So he has a double heat sink, so he can only sink 34 heat per turn. So what do we say it was like 42, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you fired all those lasers and not even the missiles, you, at the end of the turn, you would still have heat left over. You still have, I think 8 or 9.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, the way that the heat works. So each thing that you do builds up, right? So you walk, it generates heat, like you were saying a second ago. If you fire a bunch of stuff, so you got to pay attention to how much heat you're producing, because at the end of the turn, it goes back down to 0, right? But
if your heat, if you can sink that heat.
if by sink the heat, he means, so say, what's his heat level, 34?
Yeah, 34.
So if I shot everything and moved, just say I'm at 52, right?
Yeah.
I've created 52 heat points, right? So 34 of that heat sinks. So 34 of that goes away, and I made it difficult on myself.
Yep, you used weird numbers.
So I'll use 44 instead of 52.
Okay.
So 10 is left over.
10 is left over, so now you have a negative modifiers when it comes to the next.
Which I
initiative.
believe is written right here,
Yep.
right? Minus. So that means for that turn, I'll have -2 to my movement.
Yeah, so you'll be -2. So like, instead of walking 5, you're walking 3 now. And so the only thing to do is cool down. So you either take less actions, don't do something, jump in a river, something.
Yeah, because if I continue to do that, I can do 34. But if I exceed that, because now that 10 gets added on to whatever I'm doing now.
And the modifiers get worse and worse until you either blow up some ammo casing, so there's an ammo roll in there, most likely.
Shut down, yeah.
Yeah, the ammo explosion, the EXP, you'd have to roll an 8+ to avoid it. If you don't get the 8+, wherever that ammo is stored, blows up.
Yeah, they got a few ammo explodes in here.
Yeah, heat's bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do it out of the general last-ditch effort. You're like, if I can blow this thing up, the game's over or whatever. But most of the time, you're just like, ugh. Because like these, like the mechs that I'm using are not what are considered heat neutral, so I can overheat myself pretty regularly. The clans, with their better technology, They have double heat sinks in them, so they can fire more. They fire more efficiently.
Okay, so I see that here. Hey, what's going on, John? Good to see you, man. So his is normally 17, but
Yeah, but you have
because he's got double. Because okay. So
yeah, and if you look at if you look at your critical hit table, you'll see there's heat sinks in there. So like, they are represented. Like I think yours are in your arms mostly, and you have XL engines. So it's probably in your torso as well.
where am I looking?
On that critical hit table,
Okay.
there's actually relevant information in there also. So like you carry missiles in that Mad Cat. So if you look at the LRM-20 on the right side, yeah, and so like you have 6 tons of LRM-20 in that right torso, and you also have, it looks like,
Is this the tonnage right here?
no, that's the roll value.
Oh.
Yeah, so like 6. Yeah, so you can shoot that. You can shoot that 12 times because you have 2 of them on your left and right torso. So you can shoot your missile pod 12 times, and then you're out of ammo.
Okay, so he's talking about the 6 right here in this arm or torso, and then this one right here on this torso. That's what you're saying,
Yep.
right? That's where the ammo storage is at?
Yeah, but if that gets blown up,
And once I get through these 12, it's over. They're gone, right?
yeah, you've expended all of that.
Yeah. So you have a finite amount of ammo that you can shoot during a game.
Yeah, with projectile weapons.
With projectile weapons.
Yeah, so like that's why lasers are good, but lasers also cause a crap ton of heat
Got you.
for sometimes a minimal amount of damage, but you can fire them infinitely. So if you're
So
there for 20 turns, whatever.
Does this have you interested in a Tau army yet? I know a guy who sells those. Yeah, no, definitely not interested in Tau personally. It is cool though. I can tell that this is definitely a fun game for sure.
Yeah, and like it's not everybody's cup of tea, but like everybody likes big stomping mechs. Like you'd be hard pressed to find a person who's like, no, I hate giant robots.
Right?
But I haven't met them.
All right. So with that being said, do we want to? I feel like have we covered everything? Have we missed anything?
No, well, there's terrain, but I feel like it's easier to kind of explain it with the mechs on the board.
Oh, terrain. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause,
I mean,
like-
a quick.
Well, a quick
and-
synopsis of it I can give.
Yeah. And let me say this really quick. If you're just joining the channel, welcome. Thank you for watching. We are doing obviously we're doing BattleTech, but we are doing a giveaway for a starter kit for BattleTech, provided by Gamers Guild SC.
Yeah.
And if you want to be in the drawing, you got to be watching the channel, and it doesn't cost anything. It's just type in the chat !ticket, and you'll be automatically enrolled to win. It should say that there is should give you a little confirmation. But anyway,
Yeah.
that being said, let's you want to dive into, or do you go over the basics of the terrain?
Yeah. So if we're looking at the table, terrain movement. Well, so movement's important. The thing that impedes you is terrain, right? You have road. You have like the roads are concrete. They can cause modifiers like you go faster. It's easier to travel through concrete than it is squishy mud. You have walls. Everything's notated in levels on these hex maps as well. BattleTech, also just to keep in mind, BattleTech does not have to be played on a hex map. You can play it with tape measure and actual like terrain sitting on it.
Okay. It's just easier, it seems like.
Yeah, it's quicker to carry around. You know, it's better to carry around paper than to carry around big giant things of foam hex pieces.
Right.
Or HeroScape, which they like to use because it's the same size hex. You have water. Water is, if you, a mech is generally, for a rule of thumb, trees are 2 hexes high, so is a mech. So you can, if you're standing in trees, you can technically hide your mech.
Okay.
So in water, depth 1, it's kind of like up to its waist on the mech. So if you want to cool yourself, but you still want to go shoot, you can stand in level 1 water.
Okay, so water actually
Is a
increases your cooldown.
Yep.
Okay.
And then if you go in depth 2, it's fully submerged, can't be shot. Right.
And can't shoot, obviously.
Right. Well, nope. So
Okay.
lasers can shoot underwater.
So it can be shot at underwater or shoot out of underwater.
So things have to be in the water with each other to shoot in the water.
Oh, okay, I got you. So projectiles don't work in the water, lasers do.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to say yes or no because I was reading through the actual core rule book this morning, and I was like, lasers underwater. Weird. I'll get back to that. Then you have elevation. So elevation being the other major part of what you see in BattleTech. It's hills,
If you want to point them out.
mountains. Yeah, so like over on this other side of the field where this Timbercat's standing, or the Timberwolf, you got elevation 1 over there. So the mech has to step up, but it also blocks half of their torso, right? So level 1 is up to it, same as the water, it's up to their waist. So if I'm shooting at you, it causes partial cover, making you harder to hit. And then if I actually do hit you, but I roll on the hit table and it's at your legs, it hits the dirt and nothing happens,
Gotcha.
which is cool.
Yeah.
The other thing that's cool is like trees. If there's 3 trees in front of you, that modifier stacks. So it can be like, oh, it's +1 to shoot, +2, +3, and then now you're at a +13 to hit. Well, that's impossible.
Yeah, so in the plus, for anybody that plays any Warhammer game really at all, plus to hit sounds good. In this game,
It's bad.
it's bad to plus to hit.
And you're rolling 2d6.
Yeah, so each time you shoot something, you're rolling 2d6 to hit.
Yeah.
And when you add, it makes it harder for you to hit.
Yeah. So the minuses come from like if somebody's fell over, right, and they're immobile, and you go to shoot at them, it's now -4 to hit.
Oh, wow.
Or if somebody's on the ground because they fell over and your feet are next to them and you go to kick them, it's easier to kick them. Or if I'm standing on top of level 1 and you're on a level 0, I can now, instead of normally kicking, it only kicks the mechs in the feet. Now you can kick somebody in the head.
Dookie Loop, is the same BattleTech from the book series? If so, I actually know something y'all are referencing. Someone who doesn't know Warhammer stuff. Thank you, baby. Really don't need this. She's trying to. So I have a real side note here. I have a wager with my brother right now on who can basically improve their like physique the most. But by the time we get to, we're going to Colorado to go visit. And no, baby, the dog.
Come on, Skelly.
Dogs can't. There's too many wires. Sorry, we're getting attacked by dogs right now.
It's 1. Shut up. Come on.
Not literally attacked. They're my dogs. But yeah. So she keeps feeding me all these frickin'
I got your back, George.
chocolate shakes and all kinds of shit. And she knows I can't say no because I'm a chocoholic. But yeah. So Dookie Loop said, "Is it the?"
It is the same battle. It is the same BattleTech. It's literally based on those novels. So
Very cool. Yeah. So this is a tabletop version of
what you're reading.
yeah, what you're reading.
Yeah, and the
You leave Molly out.
can't remember what I was gonna say.
Or in terrain. Sorry.
Oh yeah, the terrain. So when we're looking at the terrain and stuff, everything has a relevance to it. It's not just there for funsies, right? Like running across the concrete and you turn really fast. Like you're like, I'm running, but I need to turn a little bit. You have to make a skidding check. And if you fail the skidding check, you might slam into a building
Or fall over.
or fall over.
Would you move extra spaces possibly?
Sometimes.
Okay.
And there's also like, there's ways of wall running. I don't know how to do it because I've never tried. I'm usually like big. I'm in like little fast mechs and I'm just like zipping around the big mechs trying to get the rear armor. There's different play styles too. There's brawlers, there's snipers, there's missile boats, there's support recon,
Tanks.
there's tanks. There's also, so when you get more advanced too, there's targeting computers, there's targeting nav computers. There's what's called a 3C5 network, which is you have a lead mech and it essentially gives all the same stats to the mechs that are in a certain distance to it. Or say you have an LRM firing mech in the back and they're hidden from line of sight, but you have another mech that is closer up. That's your spotter, and you can use a spotter to give the information for the location and fire your missile boats from safety.
Very Tau-esque.
Yep.
That
So
is
indirect
straight up
fire.
Tau.
Yep, indirect fire. Except the Tau do it better because the the one thing they lost in Lost Tech was the missile guidance stuff. So sometimes the missiles just kind of
Go out in the middle of nowhere.
Just yonder.
Gotcha.
There's another missile type called an SRM, and they are like shotgun blast missiles, and they're very short range.
Dookie Lip said that's dope. I grew up on those. Gray Death series was the best. You know Gray Death?
Dude, all right. So, that's the first 3 books. The Gray Death Legion series is literally my favorite one. And then I was like, cool. I really like these guys. They make mercenary packs. So the Gray Death is a mercenary company, and they come in those inner sphere boxes. So it's 4 mechs. I was like, I really want to find this, and I go and it's sold out everywhere. It hasn't been for sale in like 3-4 years. So I'm like, no.
Really?
Right? So we got that collection from that guy, and lo and behold, I pop open a lid, and there it is, unopened, Barnes & Noble exclusive sticker still on it, the Gray Death, and I was like squealing for joy, like running around like, ah. And so I'm in the middle of painting them right now, because the Gray Death is like one of my favorite mercenary companies.
Are you selling them or are you going to keep them?
These I'm going to keep. These are like, there's certain ones, like when I was getting these off these guys, I was like, these were his friends' models, and I was like, all right, these we'll sell. I was like, these are cool. We'll keep them for store stuff. So
Yeah, but it hasn't been sold in 3 or 4 years. I'm sure you're keeping them.
oh yeah, it's like, well, I'm stingy. That's what I do. I take all the cool. I'm an only child. I take all the cool stuff and I hoard it away, which is how I ended up with my pile of potential instead of a pile of shame.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have nothing like that at all.
No.
I don't have boxes of shit that I haven't built yet at all. Or an entire AdMech army that still needs to be painted.
You know, it's fine, because one day you might own a store, and it's not a pile of shame anymore. It's a pile of potential. Everybody has that same chance. But yeah.
The lore is cool. I only know it from the video games. I need to check the books out. Those AdMech are looking rather great. Yeah, whatever, dude.
Damn, you can see that far away. These cameras are good.
No, he knows. He knows.
Oh, that was the thing. Yeah.
All right, so
time.
let's
Let's roll some dice.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
All right. So grab that Timberwolf over there.
Yep.
For ease of gameplay, we're going to start on the long edges. Or, yeah, the long edges. Because, like, trying to run across and try to shoot at each other, we'd be here for years. Because while 5 hexes sounds like a lot, that's like 30 hexes across.
You're talking this way, right?
Yeah. So we're going to start.
We're doing Dawn of War style.
Yeah, Dawn of War. I forgot. So there is a Warhammer mech. And, you know, it would have been fitting if I would have remembered to bring it. Because it is actually a really cool mech.
It's a mech named Warhammer.
Named the Warhammer.
Right, it's not Warhammer related. Because you said that earlier and I was like, whoa, what?
What? Huh? Hmm? Yeah. Put that right there. All right. So the first thing you want to look at is, yeah, let's go over top. So we're just doing what's called a meeting engagements. So these are, you know, for some reason we're here on this planet doing this thing, and there's 2 mech warrior companies looking for each other. You can start anywhere on this long edge, and we're going to roll initiative, which is 2d6, and then whoever's got the highest has the initiative, and the person that doesn't have the initiative goes first.
All right.
Well, it seems I have lost the initiative, so I will be moving first, and then I will move 1 mech, and then you will move 1 mech.
All right.
I'm going to start with my catapult.
And I'm going to throw a scene on here, guys, that has some Warhammer stuff in there, but I don't have a good scene otherwise. So just ignore some of the stat stuff that's in there.
There you go.
Yeah, so all that stuff on the bottom where it's got the verses and all the CP and stuff, yeah, don't even worry about any of that stuff. I'm sure that'll be confusing when somebody like randomly comes in here, but
like, what are they doing?
yeah, I'm gonna add that to the thing. So go ahead and do whatever
All right.
you're doing.
So you put your little mech toe on the very end, and you go, okay, do I want to walk on? Do I want to run on? Do I want to jump on? for now, I am just going to walk on. And I have a walk of 4, so I'm going to move 4. We'll start moving. So I have a 1, 2, 3. I got to this pavement, and I'm walking, and I turn. If I was running, I would have to take a skid roll, but I'm not. And then the movement matters. By your elbow there, Kyle, you have what's called a gator sheet. These 2 sheets right there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at, I believe, that one, these are the movement modifiers. If you look in the second row right there.
Movement cost?
So you have the movement cost, which we're not relevant right now, but you see right here on this first box, and you go about halfway down, and it says target movement modifier. So I actually just physically moved 3 hexes. So now I have a TMM of 1, and I walk. So you represent that with a white dice and a 1 pip, and this will become relevant here in a minute when we start trying to shoot at each other.
TMM, target movement modifier.
Yep. So this is you, the movement of you.
And that makes it harder to hit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now you would move on board.
All right, which one is which?
So the rifleman is the one with the giant rifles for arms,
Okay,
and then the timber wolf is the green one.
gotcha.
So sometimes there's so many scenarios to play in BattleTech. It's just exhausting to even just you're just like, wow. There's escort missions. There's blowing up cargo. There's assassination. Like you pick a mech and once you kill that mech, it's done. And now I will move my awesome.
Well, real quick.
Yep.
If I want to, can I shoot you facing this way?
You can, because remember the torso twist. But if you in general, if this was a flat map, you could. But if you look from where your mech is, measuring from the center, you have here, and then there's a level 3 wall.
Oh!
So you may want to
Yeah, rethink that whole thing?
rethink that whole thing. Sometimes you don't get to shoot each other on the first turn. Like
So
it doesn't.
this whole thing right here is a level 3 wall.
Yep. And the mechs are 2 hexes high.
So I don't want to be here because I wouldn't be able to shoot shit. I'm like on the outside of what looks like a
it's a military base.
military base. So I should probably come over yonder.
Yep. So you have, what was that, level 1 over there? Yeah, so you could go right there and just start right there, and then you'd walk up.
So this is 1.
Yep. And what's your regular
2,
movement?
4,
4. Yep. So,
3.
and then you couldn't get up there unless you ran. So you could say, hey, I'm running, and then use your other stuff.
Which I'll do so we can show what happens when you run on pavement. Because I'd like to see it anyway.
Yep. So you go.
And a level 3 protects me from being shot, right?
Correct. So now you would need to. What's your run? What's your max run MP?
6.
6. Yeah. So you got up there. So you used a total of 5. So technically, while you're running, if you turned right now, you would have to do a piloting check because you would skid.
But I don't need to if I stay the way I am.
Yep. You're safe the way you are. So now
So you need to max out your run to have to do a check?
No. It's if no matter what you do, if you're running and then you turn on pavement, it causes a skid check. Because
Okay.
your feet could fall.
So it's
out
not running on pavement, it's running and then turning.
and turning. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Well then
And then it can also happen if you have a damaged gyro.
I want to see this. So I'm gonna turn that way.
All right. So now we said we have piloting skills of 4. So you need to take 2d6.
You said 3, I think.
No, so gunnery is gonna be 3.
Ah,
Piloting
got
4.
you. 2d6.
Yep. And since you're not damaged, with your 2 dice, you have to roll a 4-up. A whole 4-up.
I got bush ice and a dream. Let's do this thing. Gotcha. I need to roll a 4-up.
Yeah.
All right, I roll a 3.
How did you do that? How did you fuck that up?
Because, dude, everybody that
It was-
watches this channel knows how terrible my rolls are.
All right. Well, now, so you have to look at the gator sheet over here. Now you have to pick it. I want to come over here real quick because I didn't expect to have to explain this. So
That's how I roll, dude.
So now you have to do a fall direction, right? So right there. So now you roll 1d6 and see what direction this rifleman has fell. So
Hex side right, so I'm into a wall.
yeah, so you're not going to actually fall in the wall because technically these hexes are 30 meters wide. So like you're falling over, like he fits in there. But so you tump your mech, right? So now you have to roll for fall damage because now you've hurt yourself. So now we have to look at the table. We haven't even shot each other yet, man. Like, what's going on? So you fell on your right side, right?
Yeah.
So we have to look at your tonnage on your mech.
Oh, God.
So you're a 60-ton mech,
Okay.
and I believe it is
Oh.
tonnage divided by 10 for your
So
fall.
6?
So you're going to have to do 6 damage to the right side of your body. Now we have to look at the damage table. So you go ahead and roll 2d6.
I'll make it so you guys can see it.
All right, it's a 5. At least it's not a 1. You didn't hit your head. So now you're going to look at the right side. So go one.
It's right arm.
Right, so yeah, so your right
Yeah,
arm.
5 is right arm.
Yep.
So I took 6 damage to my right arm?
You need to color in 6 pips on this armor.
So for those of you following along, what just happened is
You rolled amazing.
my right arm here, I just took 6 damage in.
Because
Sweet. That's awesome.
Your fat ass fell on your right side. Hurt your little arm.
I mean, we got to showcase some stuff.
We did.
Right?
That's a pretty funny start. Now I have to do my second movement. So it's back and forth on the movements. So this is what's called an awesome. Oh yeah, and you also you did. Well, now you're immobile, so it doesn't matter. So normally you would, but so when you go to, you have to do a. You also have to do a. After we get done with the movement phase, you have to do a pilot check. So you have to do what's called a seatbelt check to make sure you didn't knock yourself out.
Dope.
So this is called an awesome. It's an 80-ton mech.
Okay. Did you say it's called an awesome?
It's called an awesome.
Okay.
Like
it's an awesome mech.
It's literally awesome. They're actually not. They're terrible. But it's okay. It's very slow. It only has 3 movement. Luckily, I can just walk onto this field because going up over it would suck ass. There's this juicy mech laying on its side over here. So this is the cool part about having not having the initiative. If you had if I had the initiative, this would be even better. Because I could have set my mechs over here when you fell over. I'm gonna go on here. So I'm gonna come on 1, 2, well, and then my turn. So no cheekiness happens. So I didn't move enough, so I need a white dice, and when you know something didn't move that far, a 6 on a white dice means 0.
Okay.
So I have a TMM of 0. So essentially I walked, but I stood still, kind of, because I'm slow. So the Timby's going to come in.
He moves 5. What's the range on him?
His PPCs can go 18 hexes.
I'm talking about him. 18?
Yep.
And what's the range on him?
His missiles are 21.
21?
Yeah, but these are long, so that
1,
plus
2,
4,
3, 4, 5,
so,
6,
like
7,
it'll have a plus 4 modifier.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Holy shit balls.
Yeah, but it'd be rolling 12s if I could see you, but I can't because the walls. But I do have a spotter if you stick
there's
yourself
a wall
out.
right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there's a wall here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, not impossible, but could happen.
Oh, you have a spotter?
Yeah, because technically I have a clear line of sight at you right there.
Oh, okay, so you can spot for him. Okay, I thought there were special people that you spotted
So,
with.
but what happens too when a spotter spots, he still gets to shoot, but he also gets a +1 because he's distracted. He's like, it's over there, and then he's over there like, pew, pew, at the same time.
Gotcha.
He's distracted. But yeah, all right. So that was fun. That was the movement phase. All right, not so bad yet, unless you fall over. But Never a dull moment. All right.
Forgot to mark that in.
Yeah, and so, and just to be like efficient, you would, when you walk, it's +1 heat. When it's 2, or when you run, it's 2. And so at Timberwolf, it walked on, right? It walked all 5.
Yeah.
So you need a white dice, and then if you look at your movement modifier on this one, the TMM, so you went 5 to 6 hexes, so you were at a +2. So it's not about, it's not the, that was me. Make sure my store's not burning down.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah, it could happen. Nope, they're still alive. All right, so Jimmy's sitting over there by his lonesome, probably eating some Doritos.
Gotcha.
We just got some brand new Doritos in. So
Oh,
fresh.
yeah, he gets a little thing too, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he.
But he's going to be easier to hit now, right?
Yeah, so technically, like his hit modifier is immobile, so he's a -1. He's a -1 to hit instead of a plus. So he would be a white dice with a 1.
Okay. And real quick. Surprise, it's me, Filthy Vicious. Fruit Smoot.
Fruit Smoot.
I forgot my login for the other Twitch. That's funny. Good to see you. We're playing BattleTech. This is, if you ever played Mech Warrior, this is basically, it's the same thing, right? Isn't that what we said
it's
earlier?
the same franchise.
Yeah, same franchise. We are giving away the BattleTech box. If you're interested, exclamation point ticket, and that'll put you in there. You can put 1 in.
Yeah, and just like while I'm thinking about it, so we did it, like I did this as a gamble. I picked it up at my store, and I was like, "This is really cool. I'm gonna be really passionate about it," which I am. I love this. Like I dove so far into it, and it was weird because like our store, when game stores open up, they don't just automatically have a niche. Like you don't just open your store and then it's full.
Yeah.
Right. You have to take a chance. You have to be like, all right, I'm going to buy into this thing. I'm going to do it. I got really lucky because the community went from, oh, I don't know anything about BattleTech to, oh man, you guys are going to be playing BattleTech? I have 32 people that consistently play BattleTech at my store. And we play in a campaign, which is infinite. And like, I'm really lucky. Like that's astronomical. That's a little like needle in a haystack. 30 people, whenever I talk to Catalyst on the phone, they go, you have how many people playing?
Yeah, BattleTech in particular?
Yeah, BattleTech in particular, usually it's little groups at kitchen tables, like six at max.
Yeah.
So I got really lucky. So like, if you're in the local area, you want to play BattleTech, you have a lot of friends to play with.
Yeah. Yeah. Babe, I'm on my phone because I'm enjoying my life at work. Oh, nice. What do you mean? What do? What do you mean? If you're talking about winning the box, you put in exclamation point ticket, and you'll win this this BattleTech starter box here.
Yeah. It weighs
Well,
four
I'm not saying you're
pounds.
gonna win, but you're entered to win.
Yeah, and those boxes, the contents of that box is literally 2 lances worth of mechs. So I think there might be 9 or 12. There might be 12 mechs in there. But then you have standees, little punch out cardboard. So technically there's enough in that box to play with 4 people out of the box for $60.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's.
And free if you win it.
I'm gonna get started on Warhammer or GW prices. Oh Jesus.
And then there's 2 paper maps. All this stuff.
So true. I can't even. Fruit Smoot is definitely.
Wow. Just comes
Oh my God.
Just came in the chat all hot.
Rig it right now for me to win, or else. All right. So
We just ended the movement phase. So now technically we'll be in a torso twist phase. There's really no reason for anybody to be doing any torso twisting. My awesome can see your Timberwolf. Your Timberwolf can definitely see my awesome. This guy can't see anything because of the walls. When you're measuring line of sight, like this is where those, the Tau love to use their lasers to look and see line of sight, especially during kill team. One of those lasers, they measure from the middle of the hex all the way down. So if something runs into it, that's line of sight blocking. So if it hits a hex. That way there's no argument. There's like, I can kind of see it, I kind of can't see it. It's pretty exact. That's why the hexes are nice.
Yeah.
We don't have any tape measures in our hands. Makes it a lot faster.
Yeah, so this is my stuff right here, and that's his stuff right there.
Yep.
These walls right here are blocking line of sight from him being able to shoot really either of my guys. But we can see each other here.
Yep. And this awesome can see
Both of
your...
oh, no.
Because you fell down in this hex, right?
Yeah.
So I
So
was
that's
like,
these are a level 2, right?
Yeah, so, but if you're looking right here, it comes right there.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yep. So nothing blocked me there. Oh, actually, yeah, because these are while these are level 1 and I'm at level 0, my torso is sticking up, looking down that way.
Got you.
It's not worth it to shoot at you while you're laying down like that. It's not honorable, we should say.
Oh, it's one. I'm gonna tell you right now, you would not be getting the same.
The same treatment?
No.
No, yeah, despicable. But yeah, and so now we would do our torso twist if there was necessary, but now we would go into the shooting phase, right? So I lost initiative. And it really doesn't matter, but when you're playing really larger games, it kind of does. As the loser of initiative, I would shoot first.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, if I'm trying to focus down something, you can be like, "Oh no," and then you can respond to my shooting that way.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of going back and forth, I go, you go, in like we do in movement. I'm gonna shoot all my weapons, and then you're gonna shoot all your weapons.
Okay.
And this is where the modifiers and stuff come through. We're gonna do the awesome first because it's gonna be the easiest. I don't think my catapult really has any line of sight, and I'm not trying to do any cheekiness currently. So I'm gonna look at my awesome. I have 4 weapons on this awesome. One being a small laser, which only has a range of 3, so that's not in the range of anything. And then my PPCs, they have a max range of 18, but this is where the Warhammer players are gonna be like, oh, we have it good in Warhammer. So if we count the hexes between, so count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I am 12 hexes away, which if you look at your mech sheets, you'll see the min range, short, medium, long. The short, medium, long is the distance of what is considered to be short range, medium range, and long range with the weapons. So if I'm 10 away, that means I am in my short range for the PPCs. So I have to add a +2 to my gunnery modifier. So we said we were 3s, so it's 3 + 2, putting us at 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain this to them really quick.
Yep, go for it.
So, and you can roll if you want to. Well, actually no.
Well, I'm still calculating.
Yeah. So these are the weapon types. That's short, medium, long, and that's the distance to the target. And this is the modifier that you add to the roll when you're doing it, depending on how far away they are.
Yep.
So if it's 16 or more, then it's considered long, correct?
Depending on the weapon.
So like this, I'm talking about, I'm sure you can't see that far.
Yeah.
The medium is 15, so anything 16 or more is considered long, right?
Right.
Yeah. Up to 25, I wouldn't be able to target anything over 25.
Yeah, so like, unless you're playing advanced rules, there's extreme long range. But right now, if we tried to do it, like the rolls would end up being like +16, which is impossible with 2 dice, unless you can't math. But,
Right.
So, for my distance modifier, it was 2. My gunnery is 3. I barely walked, so even though I didn't move fast enough to make a TMM of 1, I still have to add 1 because I did walk. So the mech's shaking around walking. So I have the 2 + 3 + 1, so I'm at 6. And then you briskly walked towards me, so giving yourself a target modifier of 2. So I have to roll an 8 to hit you with a PPC.
All right, break all that down really quick. And before you do that, Saint asked, do you have any fire starters?
I think I have 1.
Because he loves those guys, he says.
Yeah, I think I have 1.
I don't know.
I'll check that.
I don't know if he's actually looking. Are you looking at getting into this? Good Lord, bro.
It's okay. It's affordable. It's
It is way more
miniatures
affordable.
on a budget,
It is definitely way more
and they're
affordable.
nice.
All right, so you said
All
the
right.
modifiers just one by one, if you don't mind. Really
Yeah.
quick.
So an easy way to think about it is you have a base to hit before you even start firing, this is the easiest way. My gunnery skill is 3, right? So
Yep.
you're starting at 3, and then
you need to roll 3 or better.
Yep, 3 or better. I didn't walk that fast, but I did walk, so I have to add 1 to it, so I'm at 4.
Okay.
Then you waddled up kind of briskly, and you have a TMM of 2, so your target movement modifier, so that's where this becomes relevant. So now I'm at 6. And then the distance modifier for the weapon, which is +2 because it's at medium, so it's +2. So I need a 7 or 8. I need an 8 math.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to roll an 8. I'm gonna do this 3 times, even though it makes a crap ton of heat. Actually, I'm not. Wait, hold on. I am gonna do it because it makes a lot of heat.
So
Right.
he's shooting here, and I'm assuming you're shooting
Yep,
him.
I'm shooting that Timby.
Yep.
Right. These things create 10 heat a pop, shooting 3 times, so I'm gonna make 30 heat on myself. But if they do hit, they are 10 damage apiece.
Ooh.
So first one, nope. Critically failed that. Nothing happens. Thank God. But I did get all that heat for nothing. So I need another 8. There we go. We got 1 8. So we'll keep that in our brain log.
Yeah, roll him over here.
And then a 6. So I just accrued 30 heat and I only hit once because we're really far apart.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little thing. Oh, I can only sink 28 heat, so I'm technically at 31 because I walked. So when we come back to do the initiative, I can't sink all that heat, so I'll have heat left over. So now I have to roll in the critical hit table, or not the critical hit table, the hit location for that one. Some weapons break down into blocks of 5 like missiles, but these energy weapons just do splash hit in one. So there's no armor save in this game either.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and roll in the hit table just like when you fell over.
Yep.
So that's an 8 from the front. So you look at your hit table in the front.
You hit left torso.
Left torso. So you have 10 pips of armor just got sheared off on your Timberwolf.
And that's on this one, right?
Yep, on your left torso.
Left torso. 10?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay.
If more of those would hit, that would have been devastating. But
Yeah, I'm sure.
they did not. All right, so that's all my shots that I can make. So
Fruit Smoot. That's not going anywhere. I'm never going to understand these games. So it's not that bad. We actually went over everything in depth earlier. If you do end up winning, just I'll make this, obviously I'll make this public, but yeah, just watch like the first probably 30 minutes.
yeah,
And we break everything down. So I'm obviously there comes with rules too, but
yeah, and when you start off playing the first games, you're gonna miss a bunch of stuff.
yeah,
Just
like anything
the first
else.
game I ever did was, how does this thing move? And then we like muddled through shooting, and then
Yeah.
and then I got hit by a golden BB, and then got destroyed.
Annihilated.
Yeah. So,
All right, so my turn. What do I do to get back up?
well, we're not there yet.
Oh,
You fell over. You could still shoot from your side, but you're
I could shoot from the ground.
yeah, and you have the ability to lift up, but you're gonna end up at a bad modifier that you won't be able to hit me anyway. It'll be like a +15 roll because you're on the ground.
Oh, so I can't shoot.
Yeah, if I was closer to you, you would be, but you're gonna be
Okay, so no.
with the Timberwolf, the green one. That guy, he has a buttload of stuff on him.
So I moved the full. How many heat do I get for
For the walk, it's
Yeah.
only one.
one?
Yep, one heat.
Okay, so I have LRM 20, LRM 20,
Yep.
and a large laser.
Yeah.
Two
and I'm
large lasers, actually.
Yep, and I'm at range 10.
That's going to put me at 12, 24, 12 and 24, 30, what, 36 if I shot all of that?
Really?
24 and 12, yeah.
Those LRM. So the thing about missiles is, missiles in like expendable ammo tend not to make a lot of heat.
6. That's 12 for both. If I shot both.
Yeah, so it's 12, and then
The 2 lasers are 12.
okay. Oh, those are the big lasers. Oh, these
Yeah.
are ER pulse lasers. So these things are big. These are big. Yeah, then you have your LRM 20s. So, yeah, dang, those have
Where's
really,
the damage on them?
right here.
Yeah, right there.
And these modifiers, we're not even going to talk about them right now, but these things do different effects
Okay, so the damage is what, 1?
per missile. So you're going to be firing a 20 rack of missiles.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're about to launch hell on earth at me, and then these lasers. So I would do the lasers first, and then we'll do the LRM
Big
20s.
rolls later? Or
Well,
in a second?
Well, yeah. In BattleTech, these rolls are literally still just the 2d6.
Yeah, no, I got you. And you do the damage with 20, right? Like you do the damage.
Well, when you do clusters of missiles, they go in the damage blocks in 5s. So while this big peppering of missiles is coming down, you represent like peppering the other mech.
Got you.
So you can hit somebody in the face like that. It's really good when big blocks of stuff hit like that. So
All right, so for the shooting, I moved. So I'm at base 3, right? Because
Yep.
we're both based on 3.
Yep.
So that puts me at a 4.
Yep.
You moved. That's 1 because you barely
So
moved,
actually,
right?
yeah. So you don't get the 1. I actually stood still because remember the 6 is a 0. So
Okay.
I got the 1 for my shooting, but my actual target modifier is a 0. So it's actually like me standing still
Okay.
because I didn't move fast enough. So
But
you don't have
I
to add
moved, so I'm at a 4.
that. So you don't count yours. It's 1 for walking. So you're
Yeah. So I was a 3, and because I walked, I'm
Yep.
at a 4.
Yep.
And then the distance is
10.
10.
So your 10 hexes away. It's the
So
right
I'm
one.
over here. So that's medium.
Yep. So you're still in your medium. So it's +2.
Large laser.
And then your LRMs are in short range, so it's
So
nothing.
I need 6s,
All right.
right? Medium is 2.
Yep.
All right, so on 2 dice,
Oh,
this is 2
God.
different shots. Oh my god.
Hey, it's like when you fell over.
I need new dice. These are terrible.
You hid mine over here. There's the actual mech warrior dice right there too. You can roll.
7. I made it. All right, so 1 hit.
All right, 1 hit, and they are 10 damage. The ER pulse lasers or large lasers.
Yeah,
They
10
are-
damage.
They are 10 damage. All right, so now you need to roll in that. Tell me where I got hit. So you hit me in the front.
9.
9. So 9 front. I didn't bring my.
9 front is left leg.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's okay. I got lots of armor. So I got 10 armor pips.
Oh yeah, you do got a lot of armor on there.
Oh yeah, he's a big fat boy. He's walking around with a bunch of armor plates. So now you're gonna be shooting those missiles, right? So when you
Yeah,
start,
these rolls, I know, man. It's getting ridiculous.
so I would take one of these black sets and roll these at the same time with your other ones, because you know you're shooting 2 at the same time,
Right.
And you were at a 7, so now you don't have to go back and forth and calculate it. These missiles are in short range, so it's +0. So you need 5s. So now you can roll both of those the same, and you'll know that.
Oh, they're medium.
Right.
The LRM 20s?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's medium is 14. Short
Yeah.
is 7, medium is 14.
Yeah, so, oh yeah, you're right.
So I'm hitting on 6s.
You're hitting on whatever you're hitting with
Yeah,
laser.
yeah, it's 6s.
Go
But yeah,
for
I
it.
can roll these separately, so.
Da-da-da.
No?
Yeah, go.
Oh, were you nervous?
Yeah, this can kill me. There you go. You hit with both.
Both
All right.
hit.
Now there's another table, and the reason I have 2 gator sheets out is so that we don't have to flip them back and forth. So on that sheet, on the bottom, you're right.
Cluster hit?
Yep. So you're looking at 20, and then you roll 2d6 again for each time that you hit, and that'll give you how many missiles hit in a cluster. Wow. So
All right, so
10's
10
good on a 20 pack.
10 on a 20. 16.
So that's 16 damage, and they're clusters of 5. So you'll have 3 locations get hit plus 1 damage. So, like if you hit, it's gonna be 5 damage, 5 damage, 5 damage, 1 damage, because there's 16 hits.
Okay, so now I need to roll on this
That way,
table.
yeah, that way you don't have to roll 16 times. because that would be insanity.
All right, clusters of
So-
5, so I
yep.
need to roll this 5 times.
And then remember-
this one is separate. I rolled.
Yeah,
I got
a 5 on a 20
I got
pack.
12.
God bless. So, all right. So yeah. So we'll. All right. This is why we have dry erase boards and markers everywhere. So you have a 5, and a 1, and then you got a 12. So it's gonna be a 5, and a 2. So you got to roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times on that location table. Tell me about the death that's about to occur.
Hey, Jim. What is up? Good to see you, buddy. Am I the real Slim Shady? Do I look like Slim Shady right now?
It's that backwards hat.
So I'll just do these 2 at a time then.
If you want.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can take that big hint, like all those pairs right there. That's why I stacked them out like that.
Oh, you put them in pairs. I got you.
Yeah, so they're all colored
So
pairs.
1, 2,
Because remember, you
three.
need 7 sets.
4, 5. All right.
There you go, 5's enough. Yeah, and then we'll just do the little ones.
I'll do that for the 1.
All right. So now, first, so you got an 11, a 9. As long as there's no 12s or 2s in there. And you got to roll 1 more black dice for the damage. Because we're rolling for location. The damage is already happening.
Oh, I got you.
There you go. All right. So where's 11?
Oh, yeah, and I guess I got to do that
Yep.
1 more, right?
There you go. Oh god. I thought,
He saw that 1.
yeah,
He
it
was
was
like,
like,
"Oh shit!"
yeah. Double.
Double 1s and double 6s do crits, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And 12s is always head, no matter from what location.
This is front, right?
Yep. This is front. 11.
Left arm.
All right. 5 in my left arm.
That's 9. Left leg.
Oh, you already did damage to that. It's not good.
4 is right arm.
Oh goodness.
7 center torso.
That's it. Scratch the paint, man.
4 right arm.
Uh-oh.
7 center torso. 6 right torso.
All right. And so these last ones, these last ones did 2 and a 1. So, yeah. So you peppered my mech with that one.
Hey, if you're just joining us, go ahead. If you're interested, go ahead and put in ! ticket. You have a chance to win a BattleTech box. I would really appreciate joining the Discord so I can get a hold of you if you win. And you gotta be on the stream and watching to be able to win. So just real quick, just want to throw that out there. We are going over BattleTech right now. I've never played before. Well, we played a little skirmish game the other day so I could learn, so I don't look completely, have no clue what's going on. But this is, basically my second attempt at playing this game.
Yeah.
But I need to do another...
So it's about to get kind of spicy because we both have to do. So you did 20 damage to me, or over 20. So I have to do. So your dude has to do a pilot check, and mine has to do a pilot check as well. After the shooting phase is over.
3. All right, so each of these is, and then, what is that, 2 damage?
Yeah. So I need the.
Okay,
So you need to roll. So you only
this
have
is
to roll.
for the 2 damage right here.
Yeah.
So, I have
Well,
to
so you
spec-
already did. So you did the. You rolled 7. You've already finished all your damage. Remember, you rolled 7 pairs. I was counting them out for you while you were doing it.
I thought I rolled. I
You
thought
rolled
I put 5
7
sets out and then the
And then
black
you-
one.
And then you added 2 more after that. But we can roll 2. We can roll the additional 2. It doesn't really matter. My dude has a crap ton of armor. Don't really care.
No. I I thought we were just rolling this one at first. But
yeah, you rolled.
I think I can't count, and that's part of what that
yeah,
is.
you rolled 7
So
pairs.
I'm not worried about it.
It's fine. All right, so now this is the end of the shooting phase. We both need to do our pilot checks. So you fell, and now if you look on your sheet, you've never taken a hit before, so you have to do a consciousness check.
Yeah, and for anybody that's just joining us right now, I was trying to be cool and be like, oh, let me do this skid check. So basically in this game, if you if you run and turn on pavement, you have to do a skid check. Like basically you don't have grip on your feet, so it's like, oh shit, what happens? I needed to roll a 4 with 2 dice with 2d6, and I rolled a 3. So what ended up happening is the dude ended up falling over, which luckily he didn't fall this way because then it would have fell off of the 1 level and then taken damage, right?
It would have been, no, you would have been fine. You still would have been that hex, but there is a way. If you look on that sheet, you fall a hex over, so it says 2 hex left.
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah,
oh no.
That would have sucked.
The
But yeah, first turn, nothing happened, and I fell into a wall.
and got 6 damage on your arm.
Yep.
So now if you look at your stuff, you have to do a consciousness check.
Okay.
So we call these seatbelt checks. You need to roll a 3 up on 2d6.
Oh, here we go. I know I'm going to fail this one. Jim, 1 year younger than the humble Warhammer. We're talking about, what's it called altogether? All right, I'm good.
All right, you got it.
I got
All
a
right.
9.
So I need to make what's called a shake test because you did more than 20 damage to me. So I got to do a piloting skill check. So I need that 4 up.
Okay. No, yeah.
Oh wait. Well, so I rolled.
You rolled an 8.
I rolled an 8, so I'm okay. When you roll, if I would have failed it, I would have also fallen over.
Really?
Yeah. And then I would have to do a consciousness check after that. And you can only do a consciousness check 6 times, and your pilot's dead. Because it starts getting progressively harder.
Starts taking brain damage?
Yeah. The fact that you did pass it, so you go ahead and strike off the hit taken, it will progressively get worse.
Okay, so each time it's harder to pass.
Yeah, so eventually you can, like, if you keep knocking a mech over, no matter if they keep, passing it, eventually they're going to die from being scrambled inside their cockpit.
Got you.
All right, so now we would go into the physical attacks, but we're clearly
Not close enough.
way far apart.
Yep.
So now we would go into an initiative roll.
All right, before we do that, I have to take a quick, I got to run to the bathroom really quick. Is there anything going on at your store that you want to talk to them about while I'm gone?
Sure.
Or did you want to, okay. Yeah, I will be right back. Give me 2 seconds. I have a bladder of a child.
Happens. Yeah, so we have, going on in our store right now, we have 2 escalation leagues. One's Age of Sigmar, and the other one's 40K. We just restarted the 40K league because there was some miscommunication. If you want to sign up for that, you can hop into our Discord. It's Gamers Guild SC, or on our Facebook, which is also Gamers Guild SC, or visit our website is https://gamersguildsc.com, and you can go on there. Also, you can always ask in these chats. Those leagues, they're $25 to join for the 4 months of play, and then at the end we're gonna have RTTs. There's always gonna be prize support with us. If you don't know how to play Warhammer, we always teach people. We also have we have a BattleTech campaign league. It's free. It's mostly oriented to teaching the basics of BattleTech, like we're doing right now, and then we get more advanced every time you get to play the game. We'll add mandatory rules such as skid checks, or ammo explosions, stuff like that, or dumping ammo so you don't take all that damage. Yeah, /OnlyFan, you got it, man. We haven't quite got there. Camera equipment's really hard. So, they're over here talking about my Gamers Guild OnlyFan. They already found me.
Your Gamers Guild OnlyFans?
Yeah,
Hell yeah, dude.
but we don't have the cameras yet, because cameras be hard. But yeah, I was talking about the leagues and why we do the BattleTech campaign is mostly to do what we're doing right here and learn, like, we add rules bit by bit. Because a lot of what these guys have been playing for 30 years is they would play the same thing over and over again, and so they would never advance. They would never get into advanced rules. They just always got to a point where they played 10% of the game.
Yeah. And
So
didn't realize how far you could go with it?
Yeah, or they knew, it's just they didn't have anybody that wanted to go that far. Or the problem is that people don't want to not go that far. If it seems daunting and hard, you don't want to do it. But
Yeah.
once you do it a couple times,
Yeah, it's not. It's just like anything else.
It's nothing. Like the first time we did Death from Above, we were over there like on a dry erase board, like doing calculus. Like, okay, it's this far away, but now we're just like, oh yeah, it's a 6. It was
Yeah.
dice, right?
All right, so we're doing initiative right now.
We're going
right?
to initiative,
All right.
and then you can try to stand back up.
What's a ripoff? Wait, what happened? Oh, it didn't happen. I know, dude. I'm working on it. I know I keep saying I'm working on it. So I made a transition from my old computer.
Oh yeah.
So some of the videos, I was not storing anything correctly in my computer. So like I don't know
pleb.
where they're at in my old computer, so I have to find those videos again and re-download them.
Oh man.
But anyway,
right.
initiative. Let's do that really quick.
All right. Well, I lost it again.
Good Lord, man.
Well, looks like I get to do my movement first. So I'm gonna do my first movement, and then you're gonna you can either try to stand up or you can do your timber wolf. Sometimes there's a reason to try to stand your mechs up first, but there's not one right now.
Go ahead and do your thing.
Yep.
So for anybody just joining in, I apologize for the, this is one of the better views that I have for this. Normally we play Warhammer 40K and Age of Sigmar, and this is the scoring element that you see in the bottom there. I didn't adjust anything. I should have made a new screen is what I should have done. But I just want to be able to have you guys see us and the play field at the same time.
All right. So I'm going to do something different than I did last time. I'm going to use my jump jet, and I'm going to jump over this wall. I have a jump of 4, and so the cool thing about jumping is it doesn't cost you to turn. You can just land however you want, kind of.
Okay. You have a 4?
Yeah, I have a jump of 4.
Okay, so
I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, or I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I can jump over here, be safe. If there was a bunch of mechs over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna jump on top of the satellite dish.
Okay.
So up on this level 3. Something has to be really high, like really high. Like I've never encountered anything high enough that the jump jets can't jump on. It's up above 40, and there's no mech that jumps that high anyway. So you're gonna be like hopping up.
okay.
So I've jumped, and now I would need a red dice. I only went 4, so the special thing about jumping is you're going really fast. So you automatically get +1 to your TMM, but I only moved far enough to generate a natural 1, so I get 2 TMM. But also, the negative of jumping is it makes it really hard to shoot, because I automatically get a +3 to my shots.
Makes sense.
And I also gained more heat, so it's...
Oh, shit, yeah, heat.
Oh, yeah, when we came back down from the heat...
So I got nothing for the rifleman because I didn't shoot him.
Nope, because he fell over.
But I got a fuck ton of heat. 12, so I got 36, which my dude, I'm 2 over.
Yeah, I'm sitting at 3, so nothing bad's happening yet. It's when you get to 5 is usually when bad things start happening.
Okay, yeah, 5, yeah. So I'm good there too. No modifiers as of yet, but now I'm starting off with heat at this round. Yeah.
Well, you got that cool drinking water sitting right next to you.
Very true.
Another thing to keep in mind is you can't run into water.
Okay. You can only move into water. You can't run into water.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
I also don't think you can jump jet in water, but I have to check that again.
All right. Is your dude man moving over there?
Nope. So remember, movement is back and forth. So you saw my move. Now you can respond. You can be like, well, crap, because this dude's sitting at level 3.
Yep, I got you.
I currently can't see you because you're laying down.
How do I get up?
All right. So you've got to do what's called a pilot. So this is a pilot skill check. So you have your 4, right? Mm-hmm. But you fell over. You have no internal damage, so you have to roll a 4 up to stand up. But also, so you got it. So you declare before you roll, when you go to these, you declare if you're running or walking, because you have to use 2 MP to do the stand-up move. So it costs you 2 to stand up.
Oh, okay.
But it's okay. So you can say, hey, I'm walking or I'm running, and just subtract the 2 to it. But you did successfully stand back up. And now when you stand up, you can face whichever direction when you walk.
All right.